Hello everyone, welcome to this video about Duet AI Playbooks. In this video, we'll be focusing on how to use Duet AI to help data scientists. So first thing first, we'll set up the cloud shell and enable the APIs to enable Duet. So we set up the project ID, the region, the user variable, and we enable the Cloud AI Companion API, and then provide the project the needed IAM roles in order to get Duet AI started. So we have done that. Now we'll add some service accounts that will help us deploy, and the roles related to that as well. So that will help us set up the environment needed to run through this project. So this is a Quake Labs that I am using. I'll share you the link in the description below. So we go on to the BigQuery Studio, and in the PQ Studio we'll be trying to set up a collab node where we'll create a BigQuery dataset for the project and then get started. So I'm just enabling the APIs that are required for this exercise for setting up a Python notebook out there. So you can follow the steps and do just that. And the goal here is to understand or get a hang of how Duet AI is helping us do all those things, and then you can take a deep dive and try it out for yourself as well. So here we create a data set, and I'll provide a dataset ID, e-commerce, and I'll make it multi-region and create the data set over here. So once the data set is created, we will connect to Collab Enterprise runtime in BigQuery. So we'll first set up our Python notebook to do that. So let me just go in and set up the Python notebook now. So I'll click on this and set the region, and here we have an untitled notebook, so we can remove all those initial queries that are there by default, and we'll write everything from scratch. So in order to build the Python notebook, we'll first connect it to a runtime, and here we create a new runtime, define the region, and click on create default runtime. So it allocates the runtime for this notebook, and in a while it will also connect to that runtime, so we can write our queries and execute them on this collab node. So here you can see it's still allocating the runtime. We'll have to wait for a while it gets allocated and then connected. So we are still waiting for any prompts. So here we have the open auth pop-up. Just accept that and allow it to get logged in. Now it is trying to connect using our authentication, and Once done, it will initialize and connect. Yeah, so here we are connected to the runtime. Now we can start writing code. So we click on the code block, and here we import the Python libraries and define variables in this. So once that is done, we execute that on the Python notebook, and we have all the input variables defined here. So this will import all the required libraries, which includes BQ, AI platform, Big Frame Pandas, the open source libraries for data analysis and tools manipulation, and we have text generation models, and we also import the k-means clustering model and the train test split used to split the source dataset into test and training subsets. Then we define all the variables, and to do that we'll have to put the correct values against each of the variables, set the locations and so on. So we'll do that, and once they are done, we'll import that so that these variables go into the runtime. Well, now we'll add another block of code where we will create and import the e-commerce customer stats table, and here we are, that is imported. And then finally we create a BigQuery data frame and load the data using a Duet AI prompt. So to do that, we'll again add another block of code, and this time we will ask Duet AI to generate that code for us. So we'll put a prompt, convert the table e-commerce.customer stats to a BigQuery data frame and show the top 10 records. So and then when we click on generate, BigQuery will generate a query which looks like this. We'll have to wait for a while. Still don't have. Okay, here we are. So here we get the response, and now we will just modify it a bit so that we get a correct output from this query. So I'll just remove the PQ :/ from this and then execute it, and we'll see the BigQuery data frame output with the first 10 rows of the data sets displayed once this query job is executed. Here we are. So we have the top 10 displayed here, and now we can move on to generate the k-means clustering model, where we have now that we have the customer data in a BigQuery data frame, we will create a k-means clustering model to split the customer data into clusters based on fields like order recency, order count, and spend. So to do that, what we do, again we put in a prompt to do just that. I'll share these prompts in the description, and we get the query and execute that. So this will be taking some time to execute. It will split DF into test and training data for a k-means clustering algorithm, store this as a df_test and df_train, and then create a k-means cluster model using big frames ML cluster k-means with 5 clusters, and then save the model to BigQuery in a model called e-commerce.model name using the to_gbq method. So going to take a while, so we'll just wait for that to execute. Now that this has executed, we'll write another prompt to Duet to call the k-means prediction model on df and store the results as predictions underscore df and show the first 10 records. So it has generated the query as well, and we have executed that. So we see the first 10 records here shown with the centroid ID. Now centroid ID is the cluster that the customer will be categorized as later in this session. So you will see all the other columns as well, like user ID, days since last order, count orders, etc. So next is to write a prompt that will create a chart. So what we have provided is in the prompt that you use predictions underscore df and generate a scatter plot, and on the x-axis of the scatter plot display the days since last order, and on the y-axis display the average spent from the predictions underscore df. So here we have scattered plot generated. It took a while, so I just paused the video and took you to the end. Thanks for watching.